That's pretty.
Okay, it is 6:02 and we have a quorum, so I am calling this meeting to order. Those that choose to can stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance. You can stay seated in silent meditation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our first order of business is to swear in our new first timer here, Bethany. So if you will stand and you can repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of library trustee
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of library trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay, wonderful. I am signing. You can just sign it and get it back to Caroline. There you go. Okay, next up, we have two meeting minutes to approve. The first is from the annual board meeting minutes from July 17th. Do we have a motion to approve? Okay, Barbara, and then a second, I'll take Joe. Are there any suggestions, changes that need to be made?
Do we have the correct quorum this time for that? I think that's what we had. Was that the one we can?
No, because that was like our back-to-back meetings.
Oh, okay.
So we definitely have a,
Oh,
but thanks for checking. Okay. There are no changes or adjustments to the minutes. All in favor of approving the annual meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, oh, and we will have one abstention from Bethany. Hey, next order of business is to approve our regular board meeting minutes from July 17th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve those? Alish, do we have a second? Thank you, Bill. Are there any changes? Suggestions from those? Okay. All is quiet in the room, so I will ask that everyone that is in favor of approving the July business meeting minutes, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? And then we would have one abstention for Bethany on this one. Okay, public input session.
We have some comic cards and letters. Love the fish tank. We should remove the post closest to the library, separating the lanes so that the people with wheelchairs or walkers can get through. I'm so happy that you have replaced the orange cones with the chain. Great idea to have a physical reminder for the painted direction arrows. Thanks. Sam, so helpful at desk. Thank you for helping with my project. Melissa at the desk, always welcoming, smile and cheerful. Makes it a pleasure to come to this library.
And then we have one letter. It's lengthy, but it felt, when we received it, I was pretty proud of it, so I want to read it. I'm an American visiting from Germany, and I came to the library today to print a few documents I need for a project. From the moment I arrived until I left, documents in hand, I was impressed and wowed by the services, resources, facilities, and staff at the Guilderland Public Library. Lately, it's been difficult to feel patriotic. The way my native country treats the sick, disabled, poor, queer, immigrants, and indigenous people is shameful and heartbreaking to those who believe in the promise and potential of the American dream. One bright spot in a vast sea of hatred and misery is the American public library system, which I believe to be the best in the world. I am so heartened to see the depth and breadth of services offered at GPL. You are providing vital, community-driven resources and doing so with exceptional care and thought. I was helped by Sam at the info desk. They assisted me with logging into a computer, showed me how to print, assisted me when I hit a snag, eagerly and gracefully accepted feedback when I offered to show them how to use a niche feature in Acrobat Reader, and provided superlative customer service while juggling multiple patrons, all with competing needs. Their commitment to extending professional, respectful, and first-class service to every patron and library visitor is abundantly clear, and GPL should be proud to have such a dedicated and competent individual on their library team. I was also impressed by the many non-book services GPL offers to the community. Narcan in the entry, where it can be accessed without being observed. Hooray! Life vests available to check out, board games, after-hours teen programs. The list goes on and on. Even the restrooms were spotless. The residents of Guilderland and Albany are fortunate to have access to the many resources the library provides, and their lives are materially improved when they avail themselves to this treasure trove. I commend the entire library team for their tireless commitment to public service and community care. Phenomenally well done, Guilderland. Sincerely, Emily Steed, Munich, Germany. We should scan that.
Put up your mural.
Yes.
I'm with the hang up here.
Ray, did you have public comment you would like to share now?
I just, the library was looking into the possibility of still having a cafe earlier this year. Is that still the case? Or if it's not, and you decided not to have the cafe, what would be the reasons?
We don't typically acknowledge public comment and answer questions, but I will say we're still looking at it, right?
Oh, you're still looking at it? Okay.
I think it's part of our long-range plan survey of the public and, you know, what their needs and desires are. So that, I'm sure, is part of the long-range plan questions.
So check back with us. I do have one piece of public comment, sort of, that I neglected to put in my new bag. But we received, as a board of trustees, we received a thank you from the staff members for participating in the Flower Fest. So thank you. I know there's a couple people around the table that went. I hope you had a good time and they were grateful that we did that. So I wanted to share that as well. I will scan the card and share it with everyone. My apologies. Is there any additional public input? Okay. We will move on to personnel actions. Then we have 4 personnel actions, so I will read those aloud and then ask for a motion to approve. So the first is to accept the appointment of Library Assistant V. Wong, effective July 23rd, 2025. To accept the appointment of Library Assistant Anne Cataldo, thank you guys, effective August 6th, 2025. To accept the appointment of Library Assistant Xavier Vanden Newland, effective August 6th, 2025, and to accept the resignation of custodian Dave Minkler, effective August 19th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve those personnel actions? Thank you, Mike. Is there a second? Appreciate it, Joe. Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor of approving the personnel actions, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposition? No abstentions. Great. We will turn it over to George for the most exciting part of the meeting.
Thank you for recognizing that. I'm probably the only one that has that view, and I acknowledge that, but let's try to get through it. So we'll look at the income statement first, which I think was the first report in your package. And we'll just, we'll start with the monthly figures and then look at the year-to-date figures. So under the operating revenue for the current month, we just have all other revenue, which is passport fees, copy fees, just a variety of different fees. And I can show you more about that in a little bit. And we were favorable. Going down through the operating expenses, salaries and wages were very favorable. And I guess I should preface all of this by saying we reviewed this at the Finance Committee a couple of nights ago, but there were 3 payrolls during the month. So this is actually, it's budgeted for 3 and the actual is for 3, but it's running about $10,000 favorable a payroll right now. But Pete says that he will take care of that very shortly. And that should should go down. Fringe benefits was also favorable. The thing that I found interesting in looking at fringe benefits is if you look at the budgeted rate for the month, it's about 17%, which isn't particularly high for fringe benefits. A regular month with only 2 payrolls would be about 23%, but our annual budget's about 33% because in December or February, we'll make a big payment that's not quite 50% of the total fringe benefit rate, but pretty close to it for our contribution to the New York State retirement system. So it starts out low and then there'll be a big bump. I can't remember if we pay it in December or February, but one of those months.
December 15th, it's due.
Yeah, okay. If we look at the other library materials, very often are favorable early in the year and then catch up later on in the years. Professional fees are a little bit favorable. We didn't get the invoice from the attorney when these were produced, but that'll catch up. And the thing that was most unfavorable was repairs and maintenance, and both Colleen and I looked at that, and there was about $3,600 that was a sort of a once a year chemical purchase for different maintenance supplies, and also a similar amount for some cones and things out in the parking lot, this separation things. So I think eventually that will sort of fall back into the budget. I guess the other fairly big favorable variance was interest and investment income. We'd budgeted about 7682 and it was 14404. The interest rates are still favorable to what we thought they would be when we put together the budget, because there has been very little changes to the Fed fund rate that I think everyone in the world thought would go down quite a bit during the year. And I'm not sure any of us know exactly what's going to happen to that. So we are favorable to budget by about 66,801. Yeah, and just for the benefit of new people, we always start the year with a loss because the tax levy will show up in October, about 90% of it or 94% of it. So there'll be a large amount of operating revenue then, and then we'll go down and then receive some more levies. So it sort of fluctuates quite a bit. Any questions on the income statement? So the statement of net position or balance sheet, we sort of see what we expect to see. Cash and investments went down $427,000 because we had an excess of expenses over income of $355,000. We also paid for prepaid expenses. It went from $30,000 at the end of June to $87,000 because we prepaid a bunch of insurance policies. And we reduced accounts payable, just coincidentally, you know, it fluctuates, but it went down, which meant that we had to spend the money to go down, even though it's not an expense this month. And when you add up all those changes, it's exactly $427,000. I think the thing I'll point out just under net position, and net position is simply assets minus liabilities. So the total is about $5.4 million, but there's $2.3 million in investment and capital assets. And that amount is exactly equal to line 6, capital assets. So while we realize that we have a net position of 5.3 million, 2.2 of that's just invested in capital assets. So it's really not expendable, which brings us down to about $3 million in unrestricted revenue. And I did something for the finance committee this morning, although I can't remember the exact number, but between the end of June and when our first tax levy comes in, we'll use about, I think it was 1.3 million in cash and assets just to get there waiting for the levy. So that's one of the reasons why that number has to be what it is. Any questions on the balance sheets? So in your package, there is, I don't know what it was called, it says budget detail. And I'm not going to talk about it except to say that it shows the budget month by month. So when I said, well, first of all, it shows all the detail that goes into the different summary line items. So you can kind of see, proportionately what they are. And you can kind of see month by month what we're expecting in terms of a budgeted loss. And I think the next thing is what it's called, we labeled it the cash disbursement report, AKA or FKA, the check register. It's a little bit different than what you've seen before for a couple of reasons, but basically at the end of it, it does show non-check disbursements. So it does show the amount that was transferred to cover payroll and some, I think, retirement expenses and some payments for fringe benefits that get paid electronically. And I guess it seemed like it's good for you to just have a reference to that and know that, and we weren't really able to do that before. I explained to the finance committee that about a month ago, between Pete and Natalie and Colleen and I, we decided to change the general ledger system. And we went off the old one, which had its fair share of frustrations, onto QuickBooks Online, which I think every library in the area uses, and most businesses our size uses. Did a pretty quick transition. We were down for about a week. I keep checking with Pete on how Colleen's doing with it and everything and whether she likes it. She announced Tuesday night that she's in love with it, which took 51 weeks less than it took me to enjoy it and everything when I was kind of pushed into doing it a couple of years ago. So, but it gives us more flexibility to put all of the information together and put them into reports and to look at it. And I have the ability to look at things. So when I see variances, I could just sit at home and look at them. And it's just very nice. And it also saved us about $4,000. So that was, I think, a good thing overall and sets us up well for the future. Any questions on the cash disbursement report about the individual line items?
Yeah, I've got one for you. I see a couple in here for fines to other libraries. And this just might be my ignorance, right? Does that mean that even though we're fine free, when we borrow from other libraries and they're late returns, we pay their fines?
So it's not fines, it's actually
Lost materials?
lost circulation items. So if somebody loses something and it belongs to another library, we do have to replace it. So the patron pays us and we pay them.
Yeah,
I think I
so
got that right?
you did. And there will occasionally be miscellaneous income lines where other libraries have paid us for lost materials.
Got it. Thank you.
I have two questions. I don't know if they're for George or for who they're for, but.
Just throw them out and we'll figure it out.
Okay, the second one on here is Gervin and Blazo. Is that what we went over our retainer? Is that what we were billed in addition to our retainer?
I think that was the June invoice, right?
What is the amount?
$3,516.54.
Or it's two of them because we.
Okay, so they're billing us a retainer monthly and this was just like 2 months at once.
I can't remember off the top of my head. We might have, we haven't received the August one yet, so that's not been paid. So I can't tell without pulling the invoices if it's for two. I don't know, Pete, are you aware of
Yeah, we paid 2 months.
two of them?
Okay, no, I mean, that's it. I just wanted to make sure we weren't going like extremely over our retainer.
No,
Like
we-
1667, so times two, that sounds.
That's right then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are trying to be careful to not use non-retainer
Okay,
services.
that was my first question. And then my second question is about the CSEA union dues. Are we paying those on behalf of the employees? Or the employees, is it being deducted from their paycheck?
It's a deduction.
Okay.
And it exactly equals
Thank you.
what we
was-
pay.
Okay, those are my only two questions.
And the only other thing in your package, and so I know you have to do an approval of the check register. The investment report is there. The reports actually came in pretty timely from NPT and LPL. And just kind of as an overview, we put that in and put at least one page from each of the statements supporting all of the cash balances. So that report will tie back to the balance sheet, and it's just considered best practice to distribute that to the board so that you can at least see that there are real bank accounts out there. And I always look at it just for that reason, so.
And we are now completely up to date with our LPL investments. We had a good conversation with Jim at Broadview. So as the board authorized the director and the chief financial officer to make those investments, so we have done so. And yeah, I think we're up to date on all of our contact information, which was a long time coming. So many improvements this month.
Yeah, well, a good month as far as counting goes.
Yeah.
Is the ask now to approve the cash disbursements or just to approve the check register?
You can call it whatever, check
Just
register
the
is
check
fine.
register, okay. Do we have a motion to approve the check register? Thank you, Barbara. Is there a second? Thanks, Bethany. Any additional questions? Okay, all in favor of approving the check register, please say aye. Aye. Okay, approved. Pete, over to you for directors and department heads.
Okay, so I will cover a couple of late breaking news items that happened after the publication of the report. You should find in your packet the 2024 Upper Hudson Annual Report. That is I won't belabor it, but that's a report that's put out by the Upper Hudson Library System. If you ever wonder how we compare to other libraries in terms of any of our statistics, or if you just want to look at fun pictures from each library to see what kind of stuff they do, I recommend giving it a read. Nice light reading. So that is what that report is. We've had lots of compliments about the new traffic cones in the parking lot, which you may have noticed are not there at the moment. We're currently in discussions with the fire chief who asked us, who raised some concerns about clearance for fire vehicles during an emergency. So they're not there at the moment, but they're really doing a good job of controlling the flow of traffic. So I'd like them to come back. So we'll keep working on that. And then this did make the report, but just as a reminder for everyone, the author event that was scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed, unfortunately. The author we were picking her up on an East Coast trip. The entire East Coast trip got canceled, so we're trying to reschedule for March when she's back. She's a California author, so rather than pay the entire airfare, we'd like to get her when she's just in town. The main event to talk about this month is summer reading. I refer to it often as the library's Super Bowl. I don't often get number heavy during these reports. I like to leave that for George. I don't want to step on his toes. But really this is when we see like just a huge increase in our activity. And I want to go over some of those numbers with everyone. So the highlight that I pointed out specifically in the narrative report was our summer reading kickoff had over 850 attendees. If you remember that day of the kickoff, it was pouring rain outside for half of this. All of our events moved inside and we survived. People were very good and orderly about lining up. I lost track of how many bags of popcorn we gave out, how many snow cones. I was on snow cone duty. So, but yeah, 850 people, which is a colossal number. Next month, we'll go over the numbers of actual summer reading participation, which is always fun. Some of the other programs we did in this month, though, we had over 400 attendees at our Farm Friends program. That's the picture of me holding a baby goat at the Farm Friends. We had over 200 attendees at the Super Reptiles program. We had 4 sessions of our normal story time, a combined attendance of over 250 attendees. At our 4 sessions of music and movement, we had over 200 attendees. And at our 4 sessions of Seniors Connect in the month of July, we had over 100 attendees. So the numbers are kind of mind-boggling, just what we can support here at the library and how many people are turning out for all of these events. So I think that's just a lot of fun to point out. If you look further in the director's report, the first page of the operational briefing, which has the nice pie chart on it, I just wanted to highlight that children's books as a percentage of our overall circulation was 40.8%. Usually it's a little closer to adult books, like in the month of June, it was 37%. So we saw an increase in the percentage of children's books as a overall checkout, which is not totally surprising, but the summer reading effects. On the next page, when you look at items circulated in the month of July as compared to last year, we were up by 3,000 items. The percentage of what gets checked out the circ desk versus the self-checkout, the ratio stays pretty consistent, but big increase in our overall circulation. And then if you turn all the way to the back where we go library usage by numbers, almost all of our circulation numbers were in a positive direction. If somebody had checked out maybe 10 more DVDs, they all would have been positive. We went down in AV by less than 1%. But again, kids' books going up compared to June by 26%. YA books, 48% increase month over month. Scrolling down a little bit, July physical circulation, other material went up to 602 compared to this time last year. I point that out just because other material is everything that's not a book or a book-like object. So the mixer, the telescope, the metal detectors, the museum passes, all of the really unique things that we offer. Not to be outdone, Overdrive went up by 1,000 checkouts since last year. That number just keeps going to the moon, up and up. And then the last one I wanted to point out was the facilities report, the July door count. There's a typo because often the numbers are below the previous year, but we actually had a 3,000 person increase in our door count since 2024, 21%. So people are coming to the library in droves. They are borrowing books, excuse me. They are attending programs. Some of them are buying books because the book sale is doing really well. So I say all this to say, let's celebrate it now while we can, because before we know it, it'll be December and it'll be cold and no one will want to leave their house. So let's enjoy the usage while we can. And I say all of this to say, I feel like I say it every year at summer reading, every year being my 2 years so far. But this really takes a village. Our entire team pulls together. It's not just youth services, taking care of the kids. It's everyone on our programming team, our circulation team, our facilities team setting up the building, the admin team throwing in and helping where we can with these events. So a huge kudos to our entire staff. If I could sit here and name all 65 of them, I would. They're doing tremendous work. Other things that I wanted to mention really quickly, if you're an app user, if you use the Upper Hudson mobile app, it has updated. So if you're an Apple user, an Android user, please update your app.
I did.
Perfect. Gold stars. Several of our staff members helped do the beta testing on the app, so we can thank them for making sure it was as smooth of a process as we could hope for. Change is never easy, but we did it. And then George touched on this a little bit. Huge kudos to our admin team. The fact that we were only down for a week when we were converting over to QuickBooks Online is pretty phenomenal. Didn't even feel like a full week. It felt like less than that. Colleen did a ton of work, but also Sean and the rest of the IT team. Really, this is their bailiwick, and they bought in and took care of it immediately. So a huge kudos to them. Where I will leave it is, if it's all right with the board, at next month, the September meeting, I would like to invite Brianna Wakowitz to come and speak during the director report to talk about summer reading. She has done a tremendous amount of work with her and her team, and I think hearing from her directly will be really insightful for the board. So.
Yes, please. Unless there's an objection. Yes,
I
Barbara.
have a question on that. Could we at least once a month have sort of a staff member from whatever department just introduce themselves, what their department's doing, so that the public can get to know them better and we can get to know them better? And I just think it's a nice suggestion that you made, and we've tried to do that before, but haven't been successful. So it's just great to let the public know who your department heads are, or other people that serve the public. So if we could put that on the agenda like every month.
Barbara, you and I've had conversations. I've told you to stop spying on my office. This is exactly the path we're going down. Because I would like to do staff highlights and have them talk about these we're starting with milestones. So we're going to start with summer reading. I'd like to have someone come and talk about the collection, come and talk about reference services. We're going to start there. I don't know if we can get to every month, but that's the goal. We're going to work towards it.
Just be a 5 short minute. Hi, I'm Susie Jones, I'm head of circulation or whatever.
Yep.
And, you've seen our figures that we've increased. We're doing good work, and Nice to meet you. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a big, PowerPoint presentation or anything, just a hello.
Well, I'm sorry you said that because Brianna is working on PowerPoint. It will be about.
It doesn't have to be,
Take them through a mill.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, and a huge kudos to Brianna for being the first one to be willing to come and speak about what the work she and her team do.
Those numbers are phenomenal for the summer.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
No, we're over the moon.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're currently, the children's programming room is set up as Rufus's Book Barn so that people can pick up their prizes for summer reading. So yeah, we're delighted with the staff or the community response to summer reading.
If you didn't get a chance to read the whole report, you really should, because there's even more amazing stats and information in there. So I would encourage you to if you didn't have a chance. If there's nothing else from the directors and department heads report. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Tony, do you have anything additional to report from finance?
Yeah, so on Tuesday, we talked about a couple of the ongoing issues, which is the audit. So I believe in August, September, we'll have a proposal. Colleen, you had some auditors you were thinking about maybe using, and we'll come to the board with an RFP and a proposal for pursuing that, getting caught up the past 3 years that we're behind on, and then the current year, hopefully not fall behind on. Adjusting the way we are using our credit cards, going from Citizens to MBT, and just who has access and how they're used, and switching from more like POs versus using the credit cards and whose names are on them. And then the last thing is continuing with Mike's proposal for the board designated funds, which says he's going to tweak a little bit, send out to new members, and then hopefully keep moving forward with that. And I think that was it.
Thank you. Alicia, did personnel meet?
They did not, but I'll just mention that like next up on our list is we just got the email for the Unit 2 contract negotiations, since they are going to be expiring at the end of the year. So that'll be next on our focus.
Bill, thank you for submitting a report. Is there anything you'd like to highlight from facilities?
Just that Pete's gonna be talking with this company Titan this week about their quote to fix the skylight, to make sure there's alignment on what we need done versus what they're quoting us. So we'll see what's going on there. Farmers market, they have secured 1 or 2 farmers to show up to sell produce at that, and that's been going over with no real big issues. Then decor and greens, we're going to be putting stuff up down over the fish tank later this week, and the banners for the circulation desk will be following after we talked about the traffic routing in the parking lot. And that facility strength has had a bit of a dip. We were 4, but we're down to 3, 2 this week.
We're at 2 because with 1 staff member resigning and 1 currently on leave, but the one on leave will be back at the end of the month.
Right. So the idea is what, take it up to 5?
5.
Right. Okay, but that's basically it.
Okay, Mike, did governance meet?
We did not meet this month.
Long range planning, we did meet. Anybody that's interested? I believe we're the first Tuesday of the month at 5:30. Come and join us. We went over our survey results. We got a ton of survey responses, absolutely fantastic. So our next steps, and we started discussing how we're going to do our focus groups. We defined what focus groups we want to have. I believe there's 6 plus a staff focus group that'll be conducted by Upper Hudson. So at our next meeting, we will be finalizing the questions, and then getting the groups actually set up to solicit additional feedback from the community. So that is that for long range planning. Bethany, did board development meet? Okay. Elise, did you attend the foundation this month?
They've done it like every other month, so
Oh,
unless
okay.
I missed it. Okay, I was like, I didn't see an email for a meeting, so I didn't go to one. But yeah, they went to every other month now, so they only have 6 meetings a year, I believe.
Upper Hudson typically takes a break from our August meeting, so we did that. But again, I'll encourage you to take a peek at this. This is the first time I saw it. And then also the new app is great. So download it if you are, use your phone at all for things. It actually is. I don't think I looked at it when the bugs were there, but it's great. So I'll just say those two things. Do we have any old business that is lingering from past meetings? Okay, if not, we will move on to new business, and we have an additional piece, but I'm going to let Pete speak to the first one that's on the agenda, which is the early closing for Reader Treat setup.
Yep. So those of you who attended Reader Treat last year, we hosted it inside the library. Great turnout. Hundreds of kids came. We had board volunteers, so I'll also throw that out there that if any board members are interested in, we do still need volunteers. So if anyone would like to man a table or help set up, talk to Natalie. But the flip side of setting up in the library is that it does take quite a bit of time and effort to clear out the reading room and make the space ready. So we would like to close and have a half day on that Saturday so that we get set up for Reader Treat. And any hour changes need to be approved by the board.
So a quick note for those of you that have been here or that are new, we spent some money, additional money when the library was redone to get movable shelving so that we could have big programs. So that is how they do it. So they're actually moving the shelves and there's a lot of physical labor required in it. So. What time does it start?
Yeah.
We said setup starts at 2, but I believe the event starts at 5.
I think we're doing 4 to 6.
4 to 6.
Yeah.
That's what this.
The Saturday, October 25th.
Reader Treat. Yeah.
Any chance we could use, put out a call for teen volunteers to help with setup and stuff?
We always do, but
Okay,
the
great.
bookcases are like extremely
Too heavy
heavy,
for them,
so yeah. But teens are always at the event anyway.
Great.
Teens often take the role of candy runners because we give out candy, so they keep our bowls full.
Are there any concerns or other things that you want to ask about the 2 p.m. closure? Okay, do we have a motion to approve closing the library at 2 p.m. on Saturday, October 25th? Thank you, Alicia. Second, I saw Joe's hand first, so he's going in. So we have Alicia and Joe on that. If there's no additional discussion, all in favor of closing at 2?
Aye.
Great. The second piece, I'll turn it over to Matt to start the conversation because he sent it out in email, but this is about working with the town and school boards.
Yeah, thank you. I've spoken to some members of the town board and of the school board, just to sort of soft launch the idea of our boards working more closely together. And we don't have a fully formed idea around what that looks like yet, but there's definitely interest in our respective peer government entities here to see what we can do for each other, how we can support each other as boards, how we can support our respective executives, and how we can better support the community. And so what I'm looking for is assent or confirmation from our board that I can go ahead and open this communication with our town board, with our school board in a little bit more of a formalized manner. And we're just very much still in the exploratory stage, just talking. What can we do for you? How can we help? What can you do for us? I'm very open to questions, comments, suggestions in that vein, but I'm interested in pursuing this as a piece of action.
Comments, questions? Barbara, I know you've had some past experience with this. Is there anything that you want to share?
I think it's extremely valuable because it's not that you plan programs or anything like that, but it's just a way to see what they're thinking for the future, for the year ahead or whatever time you meet. And I've fully supported. It's just good that you're working together.
Are you most interested in forming an exploratory task force or ad hoc committee, so that there's official reps from the library board that would be, going into this? How would you like to approach this?
I'm not hard set on any specific vehicle. I am quite happy to take the responsibility for the next month or so in reaching out to the people that did express interest and seeing how they want to handle it on their boards. If there's, you know, a desire for ad hoc committees, I think we can do that. If it's liaisons to start, I think that also works. We're very much so just in exploratory space.
Any other thoughts, questions, comments?
Sounds like a good idea.
Are we, I'm trying to think what we're doing with this.
So perhaps then we will form an ad hoc committee. I don't know, like, I'm happy to chair that. And we can start with that, and I'll have a report for you next month.
Okay.
But even before you do that, just have him make his contacts and then share, you know, a direction from that point.
I think that might actually be helpful. Perhaps if you just want to CC me, so I know it's, you know what I mean? Like if you connect, that way somebody else knows what's going on, and then maybe we should officially form it next month when we, if there's interest. Does that make sense? So I don't know if we just need sort of to say like, here's our blessing, move forward, or do we need a formal motion? Everyone's quiet. I don't know.
I think at this stage, I think it makes, I don't know that we need to vote. I think it's, I don't think there's anything, I think it sounds like a good idea, and it seems perfectly appropriate for him to just, for if Matt wants to do the kind of legwork to talk to people and kind of, we're not, there's not taking any official action with these other, boards or whatever at this point. So I think just an exploratory stage, we don't need to vote on it probably.
Okay, I mean, so we are in full support.
Great.
Don't CC me on everything unless you want to. You can CC me when you get to a point, and then we will bring that back up for old business at the next meeting and see where we sit.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for taking the initiative. Is there any other new business?
Did we vote on closing early?
Yeah.
We did, oh my God. I feel like I lost like 5 minutes.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time we talked about something and everything and then just forgot them.
The time just blurred together. I'm sorry.
Okay.
To the reader treat effort, if you're interested in having Oatmeal over as a therapy dog during that event, I'm very happy to bring him.
Only if Oatmeal is wearing a costume.
He has a costume.
Excellent.
I should also encourage those of you, I know that Alicia and I have done it before. I think I've done it every year. It's really fun. And if you're open to putting on a costume and greeting children, it's a fun event. So,
Or you can buddy up with somebody. You don't have to do your own table if you.
There are some of us who wear inflatable costumes that need a handler because we can't see. So, that's always helpful.
That's why I wanted it over my face.
Yep.
And who do we contact?
Natalie, are you?
Natalie.
Okay, great.
Is there any additional public input? Okay, without any public input, we have on our list, and I'll just reiterate this since it's Bethany's first meeting. So we have decided to leave a little bit of time at the end for board comment, anything that you would like to share with anyone else. So do we have any board comments?
So even though I'm not,
You're on the board.
I guess I am. Treasurer, I'm not a voting member, et cetera, but I talked to Pete a little bit, or we exchanged emails. And I guess I just wanted to say to the new members, if you ever want to know more about what I do and sort of the process, we could always meet separately and everything. And I always used to, when I had a real job, I always used to offer that to the board members because I guess it's just different, financial statements at a library are very different than I think any I've ever seen. So I'd be more than willing to do that. And I'm on the email system, so.
And to piggyback on George's comment, I know not just for the new members, but those of you who have known for a year, I've only known you for a year. So my door is always open. You don't have to wait for a meeting to come and talk to me. If you ever want to swing by, have coffee, get coffee off site, I will clear my schedule.
Anything else? So we are at the end of our time. So it is 6:47. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Matt, and a second. Joe, we've got Matt and Joe, all in favor? Yay. Thanks, see you next month.